Welcome back or welcome to my channel. This weekend I am doing a 24-hour readathon and I thought this was a perfect opportunity to bring you guys along with me. I am splitting it up into 2 days, 12 hours each day. It is about 3:12 right now because I wake up every day at like 1 p.m. because I stay up reading until like 4. Let's get into the books I'm reading this weekend so we can get it started as fast as I can because we might go into Tuesday, which isn't a huge deal, but I'd rather not. The book I'm currently in the middle of is Alchemized by Sinlin Yu. I am about 728 pages in. It's about 1,030 pages, so I only have about 300 pages to go. But how this takes a toll on me emotionally is going to determine what we're reading. I have cried about 4 times reading this already, and I haven't even got to the ending. Nervous for that. This is about medic Helena, who is healing people within a war where there is alchemy. They are fighting against the Necrothals, which are against the religion of people who have alchemy, is seen as making the soul unpure. We are going through how damaging war is as a whole, all the dirty and gruesome parts of war, and also how war is seen outside of the front line and inside the hospital where you only see the negative effects of war, you only see the casualties. So it is very dark, very gruesome. I would check the trigger warnings if you would read this book. So I enjoy going into most of my books blind, which I did for this. And then I figured out it was a Draco and Hermione fanfiction at one point, so that's cool. I still haven't read the Harry Potter books because I'm iffy on the author because she's transphobic and I don't really want to support someone like that. I do have them secondhand for when I was a lot younger, so I may read them eventually, but we'll see. Here is a stack of books that I may or may not read during this readathon. First is one I think I'm definitely going to be reading. It's Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I have her Renegades series, so I thought reading a standalone from her will let me know if I'm going to be excited or at least like her writing style before I get into it. The reason I want to read this is because on Instagram I've been seeing these reels. I'll insert like a screenshot here of a jester and a princess or like a queen. And this book follows Catherine, who wants to own a bakery but instead is going to be betrothed to a king. And while she's there, she meets a jester, and that really sparked my interest. I don't know much else about this book. I know that I've been seeing edits about jesters, and I know that this has a jester in it, and I want to read it. Next, we have A Dance of Lies by Brittany Arena. This is about a dancer who was dancing for the king and then was falsely accused of murder and convicted and then put into the prison. Developed nerve damage. I think it's chronic illness rep, which is very interesting to me because I do have arthritis. I do daily face a lot of troubles I suspect will be in this book, so I'm excited to see if they are portrayed in a way that feels reminiscent to how I feel. I got the arc of the second book on NetGalley, which comes out in August, and that's super exciting considering it is May. So I also want to get into this by this month or next month, so I'm hoping I get to it in this readathon. For my third option, I have And Now Back to You by B.K. Borson. I read Good Spirits while I got this tattoo, and I gave it, I think, a 3.5, 4. I really liked it. It was really cute. I read it during January, so a little bit after Christmas, but still during like the Christmas spirit. But I did give First Time Caller, the first book in this series, 5 stars. I have never cried for a man in a book ever at that point. I have now for Kane Farron. Near and dear to my heart. But I really like the way B.K. Borson writes characters. I'm really excited for this. I don't know much about it. Don't really want to. I know he is the weather forecaster, so I might need it after finishing Alchemized. The fourth option of a book I have is Dungeons and Drama by Christy Boyce. This is a short, like 280 page read about a fake dating situation where she wants to go into like theater and do musicals and stuff, and he's trying to make his ex jealous. And they get together to help each other out with this. Also be really lighthearted and cute and really short, so I get some instant gratification of finishing a book, which is always nice during a 24-hour readathon. And then I have another short read to play. I wanted to read this last month, and I borrowed the audiobook on Hoopla. It has now since returned, but I rechecked it out, and I am going to read this because I do really want to read this, and my boyfriend wants to read this, so I want to read it before he does so we can like talk about it. It's like 2 rival video game companies are trying to recreate this beloved book universe into a video game, and I think both of them really hold the books near and dear to their heart, so they want it to be done right. So it's kind of like a work rivals to lovers, and I'm excited. I know it was a audiobook at first and it was published physically. I also have played video games since I was a child, so I thought that this would go really well. And then the next option I have is Insatiable by Leigh Rivers. I'm a little nervous to read this one because I don't have the other one, and I'm afraid that I want to go immediately into the next one, but I don't often write dark romance. I read the Never After series by Emily McIntyre, I think her name is. I read all of those with Frost, and I enjoyed them. I thought they were very interesting. I definitely like some more than others, but I heard the audio on TikTok when they're talking about the character escaping from the mental asylum, I think. And something about it just made me want to go pick up this book. And the last book I have is a collection of short stories. It is the Mindfuck series by St. Abbey. I had to get this cover off of Macari, and it was a little bit expensive. I completely think it is worth it after seeing the other cover. Everyone says this will get you out of a reading slump and that it's very quick. It is a detective murderer series, and I was going to read the Butcher and Lark series, but I gave it to my sister because I heard a lot of reviews that there wasn't a lot of murder in it, and it's like a serial killer book. So I was like, what's the point? She really liked it, so maybe I missed out, but you know, that ship has sailed and now we are here, and I am really excited for this. I think if I'm feeling a little slow or a little bored in some of the fantasy that I choose to read, that I can pick this up and skim through like one or two books or even the whole thing if it, you know, grips my attention like that. And I have my iPad here, so let's get the timer started. Alright, so we have this started. I'm going to set it up behind me. I'm going to open my book, and we're going to do a little time lapse of me reading for a little bit, and I'll come check in with you guys maybe when I get to part 3 and Alchemized, or maybe when I finish the book. But we'll see how engrossed I am in the story, because I have been pretty obsessed up until this point. Got to part 3 in Alchemized. I'm on page 856. I have about 150 pages or so, 180 to go. Shit is getting very serious. Very, very serious. I think if this book was written part 2, part 1, part 3, y'all would find me in a state of distress. I don't know what's gonna happen in this last part. I imagine it gets worse, but I cannot fathom at this point right now how it would get worse. But that's how I felt at every point in this book, and it's gotten worse. So I'm scared. I'll come back to you guys at the end of the book and tell you my final thoughts, but this is shaping up to be at least a 4.5. Depending on the end, it feels like a... Well, I finished Alchemize. That is my first book done for the Read-A-Thon. It took me a lot longer than I expected, but I did annotate, again, a lot. We have 18 hours and 42 minutes left on the timer. I'm going to take out my contacts, take off my makeup, and get more comfortable to start my next book because my contacts are getting dry because I may have cried. I'm gonna have to sit on it. I don't know if it's a 5-star, but it's at least a 4.5, 4.75. But I'm gonna have to see how it sits with me within the next couple days. So I'm going to start my next book. I haven't decided what it is, but I'm going to get unready and then I'm going to come back and pick another book. I have changed into my Shepherd Duology hoodie. And I think I'm going to read Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I've been thinking about it for days at this point, and I'm just going to read it. I still haven't decided what I'm going to give Alchemized. I'm really stuck between a 4.5 or a 4.75. I don't know if it was 5 stars, but I'm going to start this. My boyfriend's making me a sandwich and some deviled eggs. And I have the audiobook for this checked out on Hoopla. I'm going to put my headphones on, start the timer, and start this. It is the next day. I stayed up till 4 a.m. reading, so it is 3 p.m. again when I'm starting the second half of this, which I said I shouldn't have done yesterday and then did the same thing today. Lovely, I must say. I am at 13 hours, 43 minutes, and 43 seconds. So I'm not doing terrible. Everything's going great. I would say I'm more on schedule than I thought I'd be, considering I started at 3 p.m. I did take like an hour and a half of breaks, so today, if I take less breaks, I should be able to finish. I am 364 pages into Heartless. I'm enjoying it because I love Alice in Wonderland. I love the animated film. I love the live action films. I've watched all of them multiple times. I'm enjoying Kath, and I am enjoying the idea of Jess, but I don't understand how we've gotten from meeting each other to falling in love. There's really some disconnect there. I wouldn't say it's insta-love because we haven't really got to the point of confessing any feelings until more than halfway through the book, but there was no chemistry, no development in a way that made me believe it, I guess. I still like it. So far, I'd say it's like a 3.5. It's not blowing my socks off, but it might also be because I just read Alchemized, but I don't think so because I was really intrigued with the story and I've been waiting for it, and maybe I built too much hype up in my head. But it's falling a little flat for me. On the bright side, it is giving Alice in Wonderland heavily, and that's probably my favorite part of this book. And I probably would rate it a little lower, maybe like a 2.5, like a 50%, if I didn't love Alice in Wonderland so much. But I am enjoying the atmosphere and the tea parties and the world that we're in. But everything kind of feels surface level, and I am not enjoying it as much as I thought I would, but I'm still enjoying it. So I am going to finish this up. Maybe this last 100 and something pages will knock my socks off and I'll be eating my words, which I always hope. But right now, that's just how I'm feeling. So let's get into reading. Heartless by Melissa Myers. I gave it a 2.75 out of 5, which is above 50%. I thought it was just really mid. I liked the world because I like Alice in Wonderland, and I really expected something more to happen to make her into the Queen of Hearts and to make her heartless. Really, it was just a consequence of her own action. She knew her action was going to lead to something bad, but claimed like it just wasn't gonna happen because she willed it enough, and then it did happen, and then she's heartbroken. I just don't believe that. You knew it was going to happen and it's thought because you said, oh, it will not, that it would not. And that's the reason you became the Queen of Hearts. It's just, it put a little bit of damper on my mood. And even before she becomes Queen of Hearts, she blames everything that is her fault on other people the whole time. She is supposedly supposed to have this courageous and passionate heart, but it kind of just seems like she does a bunch of shit and then blames it on everyone else all the time, even before she loses her heart. And it's supposed to have this big character change, but she's kind of the same, selfish and lacking accountability. I did enjoy the ride though. I enjoy Alice in Wonderland, so I enjoyed the world. I enjoyed the tea parties and the Mad Hatter and all the characters that I know and love. I do have like a decent amount of tabs in here. It was alright. I finished it with 12 hours, 41 minutes, and 45 seconds left to go. I'm going to start Dungeons and Drama, hopefully to pick up my mood a little bit. You know, something fun, light, short. I think it's under 300 pages. And then I'm going to read A Dance of Lies and probably start the arc outside of the 24-hour readathon because I think I'll only be able to get through this and A Dance of Lies. But let's get started. finished Dungeons and Drama by Christy Boy. I really liked it. I think I'm gonna give it a 4-star. It was super cute. It really did pick up my mood after Heartless and the little disappointment I felt after that. I might go and pick up the other books in the series. I'm not sure what the other ones are about, but I do like her writing. I'm going to pick my next read and then probably go upstairs, get changed, and then start my new book. Also, I forgot to mention this, but I finished Dungeons and Dragons with about 9 hours left on the timer. Okay, so it is the end of the read-a-thon. It is the next day. I didn't get any footage of me finishing the read-a-thon and the timer going off because I thought it was going to go into today, but I could not put this down. I could not. The ending, it was so good. So, Dance of Lies by Brittany Arena is about a girl named Vasily, and she is the king's jewel until he frames her for murder and then puts her in a cell for 2 years. She has a quickened heart rate. She can't move as well. She has chronic pain. I thought that was all represented beautifully. I thought the dancing and the imagery in this book was wonderful. I can't see things in my head, so I was looking up pictures and everything because the way it is described, I wish I didn't have complete emphasia because it is beautiful. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was going to be a 3.5 until we got to the end, and the ending. I'm so grateful and extremely excited to start my arc of To Dance with Death on my Kindle. I wish it was on Kobo, but it's okay. You know, I'm grateful either way. Because the ending of this, if I had to wait till August, you guys might have had to resuscitate me. I'm being so dead ass. Here is everything that I read. Heartless, I still stand on my 2.75. It's over a 50, but it's definitely not into the 3 out of 5 range. I was just disappointed. I think mostly because I am so in love with Alice in Wonderland, and I really do like the Queen of Hearts as a character. So watching this love story unfurl that I didn't see any chemistry, any love, it really disappointed me. And every decision she made in this book, I swear to God, towards the end, I just wanted to stop reading it. I was over it. You need to understand when people tell you your actions have consequences, those actions have those consequences. When everyone is telling you that something bad is going to happen if you do an action and then you do the action and something terrible happens, you cannot blame everyone else for that action taking place. That really pissed me off because at this point, she still has a heart. She's not heartless. She hasn't turned into the Red Queen. It's just, are you dumb? The Jester, he was cool. I think he was a more complex and interesting character than Kath herself. But I didn't see enough of him, and I didn't understand why she was so wholeheartedly devoted to him when she knew nothing about him. Even her best friend in this book is like, you know nothing about him. And she's like, oh, but I'm in love with him. Next, I read Dungeons and Drama, and I really liked this book. I thought it was so cute. It is very high school, it is very YA, but I am a musical theater kid, and I did feel very seen in this. I am also a gamer, so it was perfect for me. It is for me. She wrote it for me. You can't tell me any different. I do want to read the rest of Christy Boy's books in this series. I don't know when I'll get to it, but this is such a good palate cleanser and lifted my mood tremendously after Heartless, and I think that's why A Dance of Lies hit so hard for me, but we already went over this, so I'm gonna just speed past it. But no, I love this book. We have the star of the show, Alchemized. I did decide to give this 5 stars. I think I was like teetering between a 4.5 and a 4.75. I've thought of this book the whole time I was reading the other books. The whole time. I've thought about it today. From the time that I stopped reading last night to right now, I've been thinking about it. Kane. I want to give my whole heart to him. It is that serious. I know, oh, it's just words on a page. It's just words on pages. Kane, to me, he is that serious. I love Helena. I love her so much. She made every single second of Kane's life very action-packed. She made it very stressful. She stressed this man out every single second of every day, but also was his peace, and I love that. I love that no matter what, she was always going to do what she wanted to do. She was always going to fight for the people she wanted to fight for. Now, I don't know if this is unpopular. I didn't really like Luke at any point in this book. Not a single point. What they did with his character was very interesting. I did honestly like that. It makes you look back on the book. Every single part of this book makes you look back on the first part of this book. It is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. I started reading this because it was on the Goodreads like awards thing, that if I read this, you know, I get the little bookmark. I had been wanting to read this, but it's just so intimidating because it is so long. And I know I told you guys that it was like a 4.5, 4.75. Like, I don't know if it was 5-star. I'm a liar. The more you sit on this book, the more you see the threads and how everything is perfectly aligned, and you don't know it when you're starting this book. When you read part 1, you know nothing. You know just as much as Helena does, which is nothing. But the way that everything is so calculated and I already want to reread this book just to pick up on the Easter eggs because I know I didn't pick up on all of them. It is beautiful in a way I cannot explain. And watching someone so important and impactful in the war be seen as less than just because she didn't fight and almost as like a footnote, it made me reflect and wonder how many times in history has this happened, especially to women. And Kane Farron, he is my type of man. I love a possessive and overly obsessed man. This book, hands down 5 stars. I don't know what I was thinking when I ended it. I think it's just so much information and so much to think about that I couldn't even wrap my head around all of it enough to digest it and give it 5 stars. But this is fine. Without a doubt, 5 stars. And with that, my 24-hour readathon is done. I really enjoyed it. I have done a couple of these before, like 2, but I always end at 7 hours. I do not know what the last shift of the 24 hours is that I just cannot do, but I did it for y'all. I locked it and I finished it, and I'm so glad I did. It's maybe not a perfect way to digest books, but I love reading a book from start to finish. Once I put it down too many times, it's hard for me to pick it back up. I do remember what's going on, but I think I become overly critical because I'm forgetting important pieces. That's why I need to reread stuff before I continue series, because there are just things you will not pick up and you will not understand and will seem pointless to you if you do not remember everything. And I just love binging books. I love binging books. I love binging series. I can't read multiple books at the same time. So this was really perfect for me, and I'm so excited that I finally finished a 24-hour readathon, and that was with you guys. So I hope you guys have a great day. I hope to see you soon. Have a good one. Bye!